What if I told you some of the biggest Pokemon card price spikes were predictable, months in advance? It all starts with one thing that most collectors ignore or simply don't know about: trademark filings. Miss them and you're leaving money on the table. If you're a collector, flipper, or long-term investor, this is one of the smartest tools you can add to your arsenal. Whenever the Pokemon Company registers a new set or mechanic, it goes through official trademark offices, like Japan's or the US Patent and Trademark Office or USPTO. These filings are public, which means if you know what to look for, you can see the direction of upcoming sets, long before they're officially revealed. Fortunately for you, you don't need to be a trademark attorney or have experience navigating the USPTO website to learn about these filings. Sites like PokeBeach.com and plenty of leakers on X do a really good job of keeping up with these filings and writing articles about them for the average layman. Typically, trademarks for new sets are filed about 6 to 9 months before the scheduled release date, which gives us plenty of time to pick up undervalued cards of Pokemon that will be featured in the upcoming sets before demand surges. You might be wondering, how exactly do trademark filings help me figure out which Pokemon cards are the next to explode in price? To your advantage, as someone that watches and likes all of my videos, you know a lot more than the average collector. Most collectors and investors don't have the time to stay up to date with Pokemon card updates on a daily basis. Most don't know that Storm Emeralda was trademarked back in June, and many will miss the official announcement by the Pokemon Company once they decide to reveal the set. You have more information than a lot of other collectors and investors. You can utilize this information gap and asymmetrical information to aid you in deciphering which Pokemon cards are the next to boom in price. That being said, when it comes to trademark filings, we basically need to analyze the names of the upcoming sets and try to figure out which Pokemon will be featured. It's important to note that once trademark filings are discovered, what follows is a lot of speculation. Some trademarks are easier to decipher, while others are more difficult. Those that are easier to decipher means it's easier to figure out which Pokemon cards will see price spikes, and often we can figure that out earlier than those that are more difficult to decipher. I would strongly recommend being cautious, especially if you're not super experienced in the TCG market, or if you're risk adverse like I am. Furthermore, leaks and official reveals of the actual cards that will be in upcoming sets don't happen until much later, which can make it harder to predict whether a set will perform well or not. Just remember that nothing is confirmed until the Pokemon Company makes an official announcement. Of course, the sooner you can identify a card poised to increase in value, the greater your potential return. But if you want to play it safe and wait to buy those cards until more information is revealed, that's also a smart play. This decision is up to you based on your preference. Let's go through the upcoming trademarks and try to figure out which cards are the next to boom. Let's start with Japan's TCG schedule from the latest PokeBeach article, with sets that are basically confirmed at this point to release in Japan. Mega Dream EX will release November 28th and will be the next high-class pack. Essentially, high-class packs are what we call specialty sets in English. This set will feature Mega Dragonite EX. Mega Dragonite is highly polarizing. Some people love the design and some hate it. I like the callback to Dragonair in its design, but just wish they moved its wings from the top of its head to its back. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Of course, there are currently no Mega Dragonite cards in the TCG, but I would guess that Dragonite cards as a whole will start to increase in value as more people learn about this upcoming set, and especially so once it's officially revealed by the Pokemon Company. Again, another factor to consider is what the actual Mega Dragonite cards will look like once they're officially revealed by the Pokemon Company, but that may not happen for a little bit of time. The next set is a big one, Storm Emeralda. When PokeBeach first wrote about this trademark, they speculated the set will feature Mega Rayquaza. That makes perfect sense to me, since Rayquaza is the mascot of Emerald, one of the greatest Pokemon games of all time, and Rayquaza is part of the Weather Trio. Furthermore, its ability Airlock negates weather, and of course Storm is related to weather. The most recent article is now claiming, with more certainty than pure speculation, that this set will actually feature Mega Zygarde, according to the official sell sheet which Creatures has sent to stores. If you've been following the Legends ZA announcements, or even just looked at the text of the game, it's obvious Zygarde will be featured and will more than likely be getting a Mega Evolution. So, Mega Zygarde being featured in this set also makes sense. They also noted that each set features multiple Mega Evolutions, like MEO1 features Mega Lucario and Mega Gardevoir, so I'm still hoping Storm Emeralda features both Mega Zygarde and Mega Rayquaza. The next trademark is Ninja Spinner, which is easy to decipher and will more than likely feature Mega Greninja, another fan favorite Pokemon. Lastly, Abyss Eye is a tough one. My best guess is Abyss relates to a Pokemon that lives in the deep sea, perhaps a new Mega in Legends ZA that hasn't been officially revealed yet. Let's quickly take a look at the recent leak that's been going pretty viral. I've actually seen quite a few of the bigger pages post that this leak has no source and is not credible, which is pretty surprising to me since I expected them to be a bit more knowledgeable in the space. The leak was actually posted by Blackie, a Japanese leaker that's highly regarded as a reliable source for TCG leaks in the Pokemon card community. On screen is what's alleged to be the upcoming TCG releases in 2026 in English. We've already covered Mega Evolution, Phantasmal Flames, and Legendary Dreams, but I'm not sure what Shadow Storm is. Shadow Storm is actually a move exclusive to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, the sequel to Pokemon Colosseum, which is also one of the best Pokemon games of all time. Realistically, I don't think there's any actual correlation there, but just as a side note, if Shadow Pokemon ever actually made it to the TCG somehow, I'd fill an entire binder with Shadow Lugia cards. Shadow Storm could be referring to Giratina, which is also a fan favorite Pokemon. Next up is Emerald Surge. This name sounds more like a Mega Rayquaza set than a Mega Zygarde set to me, especially when compared to Storm Emeralda, which is the Japanese set, but only time will tell if one or both of these Pokemon are featured in this set. The sets that I'm personally the most hyped about, if these leaks are accurate, are Radiant Ruby and Shining Sapphire. My first ever Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver, so Gen 2 is extremely special to me, but tied for first place is Gen 3, as Pokemon Ruby is the game I probably replayed the most out of any Pokemon game as a kid, and I've played every single Pokemon game since Silver. Based on this leak, the current speculation is that Radiant Ruby and Shining Sapphire will be another set like Pokemon 151 and Black Bolt and White Flare, specialty sets that include art rares for every single Pokemon of those generations. I'm praying this is real, and I can promise you right now I will go hard on this set if it is. Lastly, the leaks state Eternals will be the name of the 30th anniversary set. I actually really like this name, although it reminds me of one of the most disappointing Marvel movies of all time. Although most of you watching this video know the 30th anniversary set is coming, whether it's called Eternals or not, you might be surprised to hear that there are still a lot of collectors that are oblivious to this fact. Again, you can take advantage of this information gap and add cards from previous anniversary sets to your collection, like Generations, and much more affordably, Celebrations, before the set is officially announced by the Pokemon Company. I'd love to hear what you think about these upcoming leaks. Which set are you most hyped for? Which cards will you start looking into? Since I'm a big Gen 3 fan, I'm personally going to look into some undervalued Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza cards. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, it would help me out a ton. We just passed 500 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy to me, and I'm hoping to hit 1K by the end of the year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.